Hi there. Now we're going to do lesson 39. My holiness is my salvation. That's what makes us invulnerable. That's what makes us eternal. That's what makes us continue to reincarnate, because our holiness is our salvation. When you recognize that you can walk in the world but not be of it, because now you're not concerned that anything can affect you, because you know that your holiness saves you forever, eternally. Paragraph number 1. If guilt is hell, what is the opposite? Like the text for which this workbook was written, the ideas used for the exercises are very simple, very clear, and totally unambiguous. We're not concerned with the intellectual feats nor logical toys. We are dealing only with the very obvious, which has been overlooked in the clouds of complexity in which you think you think. The ego has created a very complicated system. You know, all the education that we do, all of those books, all of these processes, all of these different hierarchies and diagrams and all the ways that things are supposed to happen. The ego mind has complicated things, because the more it complicates things, the harder it is for us to find our way back home, because only simplicity will guide us home. Paragraph 2. If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? This is not difficult, surely. The hesitation you may feel in answering is not due to the ambiguity of the question, but do you believe that guilt is hell? If you did, you would see at once how direct and simple the text is, and you would not need a workbook at all. No one needs practice to gain what is already his. So we're going through a practice to gain what is already ours, only because we don't understand that our holiness is what we are. So once you accept it, a lot of this practice is not necessary. Yes, in the beginning it's wonderful, because you're learning the truth of who you are, but after that, you just begin being the truth of who you are. Then you don't need these practices. Paragraph 3. We have already said that your holiness is the salvation of the world. What about your own salvation? You cannot give what you do not have. A Savior must be saved. How else can he teach salvation? So we're always given what we are receiving. That's why the Course tells us that to teach is to learn. What I give you, a blessing, is I feel it in here. I give you salvation. I set you free. I see you as innocent. I set me free and innocent as well over here. Today's exercises will apply to you, recognizing that your salvation is crucial to the salvation of the world. If I'm not freeing me, I can't free anybody else. As you apply the exercises to your world, the whole world stands to benefit. Paragraph 4. Your holiness is the answer to every question that was ever asked. If being asked is being asked now, or will be asked in the future, your holiness means the end of guilt, and therefore the end of hell. Your holiness is the salvation of the world and your own. How could you, to whom your holiness belongs, be excluded from it? God does not know unholiness. Can it be he does not know his Son? I mean, it's crazy. God is holy and knows us as holy. How could he not know us? While we're operating inside of our mind, believing we're unholy, we're dirty, we're sinful, something's wrong with us. We may be thinking that, but God knows our holiness. All we're doing is accepting it. That saves us. That saves us from the madness of pretending that we're something less than what we are. Paragraph 5. A full 5 minutes are urged for your 4 longer practice periods for today, and longer and more frequent practice sessions are encouraged. If you want to exceed the minimum requirements, more rather than longer sessions are recommended, although both are suggested. So basically, check in with you. Do what feels comfortable. Why? Because you're holy and you deserve to do what feels good to you. Paragraph 6. Begin the practice periods as usual by repeating today's idea to yourself. Then, with closed eyes, search out your unloving thoughts in whatever form they appear: uneasiness, depression, anger, fear, worry, attack, insecurity, and so on. Take an inventory of all that thinking and apply to this. Whatever form they take, they are unloving, and therefore they're fearful. If you're thinking depressive thoughts, They're unloving and fearful. If you're thinking that you can be attacked, it's unloving and fearful. If you think you can attack, it's unloving and fearful. And so it is from them that you need to be saved. So we're saving ourselves from our own thoughts, all happening right in here. Paragraph 7. Specific situations, events, or personalities you associate with unloving thoughts of any kind are suitable subjects for today's exercises. Political parties, teams, sports teams, corporations that may be your competitors, family members that you don't get along with, neighbors that you don't like, different religious groups, anything that you believe has unloving thoughts attached to it are suitable for this exercise. It's going to be very powerful. It is imperative, sentence number 2, paragraph 7, it is imperative for your salvation that you see them differently. See them differently than your ego wants to see them. And it is your blessing on them that will save you and give you vision. So once I bless them, my mind has been purified from the debris of judgmental, ego, fearful thoughts that lead to guilt, that puts us in hell. Paragraph 8, slowly, without conscious selection and without undue emphasis on anyone in particular, search your mind for every thought that stands between you and your salvation. Go digging for those obstacles. Apply the idea for today to each of them in this way. My unloving thoughts about are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. My unloving thoughts about Ken are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. My unloving thoughts about the government are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. My unloving thoughts about the medical system is keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. My unloving thoughts about the neighbor who wronged me keeps me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. Paragraph 9. You may find these practice periods easier if you intersperse them with several short periods during which you merely repeat today's idea to yourself slowly a few times. My holiness is my salvation. You may also find it helpful to include a few short intervals in which you just relax and do not seem to be thinking of anything. Sustained concentration is very difficult at first. It will become much easier as your mind becomes more disciplined and less distractible. Meanwhile, paragraph 10, you should feel free to introduce variety into the exercise periods in whatever form appeals to you. So you will know, you will intuitively know. Do not, however, change the idea itself as you vary the method of applying it. However you elect to use it, the idea should be stated so that its meaning is the fact that your holiness is your salvation. And each practice period, by repeating the idea in its original form once more and adding, if guilt is hell, what is its opposite? If guilt is hell, what is its opposite? We got to get curious about what is it that we are really wanting to experience. Paragraph 11. In the shorter applications, which should be made some 3 or 4 times an hour, and more if possible, you may ask yourself this question. Repeat today's idea and preferably both. If temptations arise, a particularly helpful form of the idea is, my holiness is my salvation from this. Very simple. You get irritated at the bank, my holiness is my salvation from this. You get triggered driving, my holiness is my salvation from this. And you begin to remind yourself that your holiness is what saves you. Our acknowledgement of that, it begins to dissolve the ideas that we're not good enough, that we're not powerful enough, we're not special enough, we're not wanted enough. It's so crucial that we own our holiness. It truly is what leads us to our salvation. Thanks and enjoy this lesson. Have a magnificent day, and I'll see you at the next lesson. Bye-bye.